Good evening, everyone. This is Katie with Close to My Heart, and I'm going to attempt to show you how to stamp a mirrored image. And this is the card that my mirrored image is stamped on. It's using our new paper packet caboodle. The colors are crystal blue, sweet leaf, sorbet, and buttercup, I believe. And the stamp set Springtime, which is a real cute springy stamp set. And if you'll notice, my boots on this card are facing to the right, and that's because I stamped the mirrored image. Let's get started. Like I said, we're going to be using Close to My Heart's new stamp set, Springtime. It can be found in the 2010 Spring Idea Book for all of those that already have their idea book. If you need one, just email me and I can send you one out. If you'll notice on this stamp set, let's turn it over. You'll have to excuse my cough in my throat. I've been getting over strep throat. If you'll notice, the boots are facing to the left. And for this particular card, for the flow of it, I really wanted them to face to the right to the opening of the card. So what I did was we're going to start with the outline stamp. The good thing about acrylic stamps is, if you've ever used them, a lot of our stamps have an outline, and then we also have the coordinating, I call it the shade stamp, but it's the fill-in. And with acrylic stamps, you'll be able to see exactly where, to stamp that. So you just put it on your block, and we're going to be using Close to My Heart's color Gray Wool. And the reason I did this is because this card has a lot of soft colors in it, and I didn't want something as stark as black. So I just got a scratch piece of paper. I'm just going to ink up my boot. And instead of stamping it directly onto the paper to create the mirror image, I like to use our background stamps. This one happens to be intrinsic backgrounds, and I'm using this one right here. And instead of putting the stamp on the block like you would if you were going to stamp it up, you lay it face down, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually laid face down, and so the smooth side of the stamp is facing up. And I've inked my boot up, and all I'm going to do is then stamp that onto the back side of the stamp. And you can barely see it, but I've got a boot image there. And then you just turn your image over onto your piece of paper and you stamp. Normally you wouldn't have to press this hard, you'd just stamp it and pull it right up. But I really want to make sure that this gets on there, so I like to kind of pull it up and kind of rub around. You're still not going to get a solid inked image when doing this, but this particular card, I kind of wanted that distressed look, so I think it's great. So there's your mirrored image, and as you can see, if I were to stamp it regular, I would have a boot facing to the left, and now I have one facing to the right. And now on this particular card, I paper pieced the boot part, and I'm going to show you how to do that right quick. That's a little bit easier, the mirrored image, on something that you're going to cut out and not really use the pattern. So I'm just going to grab this little plaid one right here, and I'm going to ink it up in Gray Wool again. And this particular time, I wanted my boot to be kind of a sorbet color. So I'm going to use the back side. I'm going to use the back side of this B&T right here. So I want this to show. So I'm going to stamp my boot on the colorful side. And not only will I, once I cut it out, not only will I get the sorbet side, but I'm also going to get the mirrored image of this boot as well. And I'm just going to cut this real quick for illustration purposes. Normally, I'd take my time, but you just cut it out. Depending on how dark your ink is, you're probably going to be able to see through it just a little bit. But there you have it. You put your glue right there. And there you go. And like I said, I cut that out pretty fast, so there's some little holes in there. But there you go. This is the finished card. It measures 5 by 5. I stamped the boots from the springtime stamp set, Happy Spring, the umbrella, and I actually used the umbrella handle. I stamped it, and that's actually part of her hand, her arm and her elbow and her hand, and then I turned it upside down. Let's just grab it like this. I turned it upside down, and then I stamped like that. And then I just freehanded her a little sleeve right there. So, there's my card, and I hope you understand everything about mirror image stamping. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and email me. And I would love your comments. Thanks. Bye.